Hey, brothers and sisters in Christ and people of YouTube. You know, if she's got Queen in her name, she's a hoe. She's a whore, a prostitute. If she's seeking validation online, seeking likes from guys, seeking attention from guys online, she's a whore. You need to stay away from these people. They got Queen in their name, Queens, Queenie, all these different acronyms for Queen in their name. They're a whore. And that's not to say there's not some queens out there that are actual queens. But last time I checked, if you're a queen and you're rooting around, you're having sex with a bunch of different guys, that's not a queen, that's a prostitute. That's a full sex worker. Like a queen does not behave that way. You'd be lucky to speak to an actual queen, let alone have her invite you to her bed chambers, let alone have her invite you to her palace or her place. That's what a real queen is. And if these so-called queens are covering themselves in makeup and wearing filters and just looking vile, you should stay away from them, because when you wake up in the morning, you're going to want to chew your arm off, because they won't look like they look online. It's all a lie. It's all a big deception, and they're so used to putting all these filters on. And the older they get, when they start aging, it gets worse and worse. They just go overboard with the filters. They spend like 2 hours each time they need to go out putting their makeup on. And, the package might look well presented, but once you unwrap it, there's no going back, and there's no telling what diseases one of these hoes has. And just because they call themselves a queen does not stop them having STDs or, any other diseases from all the people they've been with, all the bodies they've left on the floor. Because these people don't care about you. They only care about validation, and they'll go out of their way to get you, use you, and destroy you, and leave you with an STD. So avoid them, brothers, because, even if you're lonely, don't go for an easy mark. Go for a woman that's actually going to defend you, it's going to complete you, loves you, and one that's actually wants to see you. Not one of these ones that calls himself a queen that puts heaps of makeup on. I actually think beauty in a woman comes along much more gracefully when they're not wearing makeup, or they've got a minimum amount of makeup on, I know girls like to wear lipstick and that, but putting all this foundation on and all this face paint, it just looks disgusting to me. And I think some men would be the same too. I'm not saying that makeup doesn't have its place in the world, but too often it's just used to hide the truth, Now the Bible starts with, most of the early chapters of Proverbs are about these hoes. And in Proverbs 7 it says, "My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And he beheld, there met him a woman with an attire of a harlot, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every street corner. So she caught him, and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. For the good man is not at home. He is gone a long journey. He hath taken a bag of money with him, and will come home at the day appointed. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. He goeth after her straightway as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasteth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline to her ways, go not astray in her paths. For she hath cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. Now, the trouble with the harlot is, if you get soul-tied with this person, they're wicked. They're going to have a lot of bodies on the floor. They're going to have a lot of soul ties, people they've slept with. And when you sleep with someone, even when it's just a random one-night stand, in the spirit, you've married that person. And that person's married a lot of people because they're going out and having one-night stands and not thinking twice about it. And you're playing Russian roulette with your penis, going, "Oh, I'll just give her a quick poke, and I don't need a condom. I don't need, protection." If you start doing these things and you're going with a woman that's that easy that she wants to have sex with you the first date, or just a couple of dates after, and it just seems too easy, alarm bells should be ringing, especially if they're always seeking validation from other people. They're always on their phone. They can't put their phone down when they're talking to you. And just check their Facebook too, and their Instagram and their TikTok, and see how many people they have on there. If they got thousands of people, then that should be a red flag for you, that they're not going to stick around for you. They're not going to do the hard yards. And even as a one night stand, they shouldn't be desirable, because they're a hoe. That's why they call themselves Queen or Queenie or Queens. Whatever the acronym is, they just they think they're above everybody else, which is hard to believe, because with their actions, they've actually lowered themselves beneath everyone. Like they're garbage, you need to stay away from these kinds of women. In Proverbs 5 verses 1 to 8 it reads, "My son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thine ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps take hold on hell, lest thou shouldest ponder the paths of life. Her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them. Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house." Now, this is the very beginning of Proverbs, and it's already 2 chapters that are dedicated to queens. Queen. These women that think they're all that, and they're trash. They're from the streets. They give themselves this illusion that they're above everyone, and then you see where they came from, and you're like, no, you're from the streets. You need to humble yourself before God and let Him lift you up, not be thinking you're above everyone and that you are above the law. You don't have to you don't have to keep your vows that you make to people. You can just break partnerships whenever you feel like, because you're a queen, apparently. Because that's, queens keep agreements. Queens don't break agreements like that. Like a real queen has integrity. They have authenticity. And these things these people do not have. In Proverbs 2, verses 16 to 19, it reads, "To deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life." Now that's terrifying. You go have sex with a hoe and it leads to death. That's basically what this says. And you need to stay away from these kinds of women. Like, I know society, the devil's system, he thinks that, hey, just go out and have fun. You'll enjoy yourself. And temporary pleasures will bring you a sense of peace for a short period. But then you'll feel like rubbish, you'll feel shame and guilt, and you'll feel used, because even as a man, you want a partner. Like, if you say you don't, you're either lying or you've been abused by someone, and you're still healing. But at the end of the day, you just want a loyal partner. We all do. It's just how we're built, And in Proverbs 8:13 it reads, "The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way and the froward mouth do I hate." Because all these things are nonsense to God, and he knows better. Like, we need to stay away from these kinds of queens. In Proverbs chapter 9 verse 13 to 18 it reads, "A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. For she sitteth at the door of her house, or on a seat in the high places of the city, to call passengers who go right on their ways. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, Stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell." So the wages of sin, desire leads to sin, sin leads to death. And that's the road people are going to go down if they start chasing after these queens. And take it from someone who knows it's not worth it. They are not worth it. There's plenty of much better women out there, but you're not going to find them on social media. Like, there's very few women that have under 100 friends on Facebook, and these are the people you want to look for, though, because what do you need so many people online to be your friends for? It just doesn't make sense to me. It's only when you want to do things in secret that you need to do them online like that. It's a red flag for me, and it's something you've just got to look out for. In 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 16 it reads, "What know ye not, that he which is joined to a harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh." Which is basically what I was saying before about you marry who you have sex with. And if a harlot's had sex with a lot of people, you're going to end up like being tied to those people and thinking about people you don't even know. And Ezekiel chapter 16 verse 15, "But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and played the harlot because of thy renown, and pourest out thy fornications on every one that passed by, his it was." So that's just how easy these women seeking validations are. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they're having sex in the toilets at parties with a bunch of people there, because they carry bottles of perfume with them everywhere they go, so they can mask the smell of it. And that's just how depraved they are. That's how much they've got daddy issues, and they're longing for love, but in all the wrong places. They seek validation from people. In Ezekiel chapter 16 verse 28, "Thou hast played the whore also with the Assyrians, because thou wast unsatiable. Yea, thou hast played the harlot with them, and yet couldst not be satisfied. Now, if you're like rolling the dice with a woman that is happy to have one night stands all the time, and you're looking at them and they're in their 40s, you got to think about this. How many one night stands has this person had? Like, if they're just willing to take whatever's going, like they're not even going for really good looking people, they're going for the bottom of the barrel, low hanging fruit people. Narcissists are very good at this. They love just taking what they can get. And you think they could have like 200 bodies under their belt, and do you really want to be entering into something that's had that many people inside of them? Just think about that before you dip your stick. And in Ezekiel chapter 16 verse 41 it reads, "And they shall burn thine houses with fire, and execute judgments upon thee in the sight of many women, and I will cause thee to cease from playing the harlot, and thou also shalt give no hire any more." So God will actually step in and remove them from their safe place, just so that they stop taking bodies with them to the grave, like just destroying men, And this could be a man that does this to women as well. Like the Bible will say one gender, but it's meant for both, in case you're having problems with men in the same vein. In Ezekiel chapter 23 verse 44, "Yet they went in unto her as they go in unto a woman that playeth the harlot. So went they in unto Alholah and unto Alholibah, the lewd women." So the Bible has lots of verses on harlotry, and these women need help. They need Jesus, because he's the only one that can fix them. And they need to come humbly and say, I'm finished playing with dudes. Because while they're in their 40s, they might still be able to pick up a little bit. But once they're hitting their 50s and 60s, they're just going to be lonely, because they haven't made any real connections with people. And the real connections they had turned away from them in disgust because of all the wickedness they were doing. In Genesis chapter 38, verse 24, it read, "And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burned." Now there's a big common practice in Australia the last 10 or 20 years of getting a mail order bride, getting a woman from a distant country, and if you're going to do it on the cheap, you're going to go for an Asian country and be a real Dutch person, a real tight ass, try and buy a woman really cheap, and then you think you own them. And a lot of these women that you're buying, their family sold them because they're troubled women. They cause a lot of problems. And when they come over, a lot of these so-called married women, they'll stay with you so they can, use you as an ATM. But they're also harlots, prostitutes, because they already married you without thinking twice about it, and you don't know them from a bar of soap. Like you didn't build a bond with them. So they come over here and they play the harlot, and they've got no consideration for your feelings whatsoever. And they only came over so they could get a visa, and you got to think about this. A lot of people like to go to the Philippines and pick up women there, and those girls, they'll get a guy that's in their 40s, 50s, and they might only be in their 20s, just so they can get over here, and they think, oh yeah, I only have to stay with him for 4 years to get my PR. And in where I live, there's a lot of this going on, and it's really disgusting how it's kind of like the government turns a blind eye. Like if you put up with them for 4 years, they're destined to just get a PR. And I think that's so wrong, because they should really be looking into these people and sending them back home, because it's just nasty to use someone like that, even if their intentions were to to come over there and buy you. They still wanted a commitment from you. Like, they didn't just come over. They thought they were buying the cow, you know. And if you made a deal, you should stick to it. And when you had sex with that person, you were married to them. You should have stuck to that as well. But this is why we have to be so careful, because, you know, when things are easy in life, a lot of the time they're not good for you. In Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 1 it reads, "They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord." So, yeah, God will not receive these dirty stop-outs. And in Joel chapter 3 verse 3 it reads, "And they have cast lots of my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink." So in these poor countries like the Asian countries, some of them, I think they actually do sell the children, you know, and sell them into prostitution at an early age. And it's like, then they sell them off as wives to people. You know, this is why you need to be so careful of, you know, entering into these kind of proposals. You'd be much better off just trying to find a girl in your own country that wants to marry you, that it's not a business deal, you know, because once it's a business deal, there's no emotions involved. It's just, you know, like you're trusting them with what they say, and how can you trust someone that you don't have feelings with? In Judges 16 verse 1 it reads, "Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there a harlot, and went in unto her," so had sex with her. And if you're picking up a queen off the internet, or, you know, going out with them, and you enter into them, and they're asking for money, it doesn't matter whether it's right away or, you know, once you've done it once or twice, they're a prostitute. You're giving your money away for them so that they can give you their body. They're a prostitute. Don't be fooled, and don't be fooled by their body count either. Like, if they've got thousands of people on their Instagram, TikTok and Facebook, they're having sex with a bunch of these people. And if it's a narcissist, they're most likely going to be bisexual, and they're going to be having sex with girls, and even if they're not bisexual, they'll have sex with girls anyway, just because they can get away with it, and just because that person will validate them and say, "Aren't you so beautiful?" Like, they'll, you know, they get off on it, and they don't care who they hurt. And just be careful, avoid the queens, you know, especially if you're not a king. If you don't have a king title, you shouldn't be going after queens. So God bless all of you. Jesus loves you. I love you, and have a blessed day in Jesus' name.